Knits knitting podcast. I am Meiju, and this is my 20th episode. It's starting to be really dark here in Helsinki. It's now 3 p.m. approximately. It's Sunday afternoon. We just came from outdoors. We were having a little hiking trip with my boys and the husband. We went outdoors to see the sea because the sun was shining today morning, so we thought that we should go out and have some sunlight, since we never know when the sun is going to shine in Finland next time. In November there might be no sunlight at all. Even if there is sunlight, it's dark. The sun is shining only approximately 4 hours in a day, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So now that it's 3 p.m. the sun is setting down, so already, so it's so short time to have sunlight and have a light day, and there is so much darkness in Finnish winter that if the sun is shining you have to go out right away to get your winter dose of sunlight. In this episode I'm going to talk about the In Between Dreams knit along that I'm hosting on Instagram and on my Ravelry group. The knit along is about this cardigan that I'm wearing. I've also published a pullover pattern with the same lace pattern that I have here. I should go a bit further so you would see the lace pattern again. I've already shown you this cardigan in the previous episode, and I believe in the episode before that, so you already have seen this before, I think. But in this episode I'm going to also talk about how to modify the length of the lace pattern that I have here. I had last Friday I had an Instagram live session on modifying the length of the lace pattern, but in this video I'm going to also talk you a bit more thoroughly that I did on Instagram live video. And I didn't actually, in that live video I didn't talk that much about making the lace pattern longer, that thorough. So I have already, in this morning I have already recorded a small video on doing that, and I'm actually going to put it and edit it in here. But first I will tell you a little bit something that I'm going to also talk about in this episode. So I have lots of wool behind me. Actually I have here some wool that you don't see, but I'm going to show you them later. And I'm also going to show you some work in progresses that I have in the moment at the moment, and also I'm going to talk about my knitting plans with those wools that I have there. And then I have a sock which I'm going to talk about. It's also a work in progress. I have another sock coming, but I'm going to talk about what's going to happen with this sock. If you want to join the knit along, you still can. There is no starting date, so it's already been started, and I will host the knit along until the end of the January, and I will pick some winners. If you have posted some photos on Instagram with hashtag In Between Dreams KAL, then I will choose a winner of those users of that that hashtag. And then I'm also choosing winners from my Ravelry group. So if you have posted photos, you don't have to have a finished cardigan, because everything can happen nowadays because the coronavirus situation and everything. So if you just post photos on the on my Ravelry group, I will also choose winners from them, and the prizes will be something from my stash, because I have a lot of wool which I'm not going to ever knit. And then I will also gift some pattern prizes. So if you want to join, please do go to my Ravelry group. It's Meiju Knits Ravelry group, and then you can also join on Instagram with In Between Dreams KAL hashtag. Okay, I'm taking a sip of my coffee. I have an Angry Birds mug here and I will edit how to modify the length here, and after that I'm going to talk about my knitting plans. Okay, here I have the basic concept drawn. So if you want to make the pattern shorter and you are using, for example, DK weight yarn, you might want to cut some rows off here. So you might want to not knit these rows here. So if you want to make up the row gauge that you have and want to make this lace pattern shorter, you might want to cut rows from here to here. This drawing doesn't describe, of course, the lace pattern as it is in my pattern, but this is the basic concept. So since the pattern grows with yarn overs, which are marked with these symbols here, you have to make up those stitches that you lost if you don't knit these rows. So you have to make extra yarn overs after you have skipped from this row to this row, since you have lost those yarn overs here. So that's basically it. If you want to make the pattern longer and you are using thinner yarn like or lighter yarn like for example fingering weight yarn, you might want to knit twice a section like this, or you might want to knit twice a section from here, this line to this line. If you are doing knitting twice from this line to this line, you have to make sure that on the second repeat you will make extra decreases here, because since the pattern grows with yarn overs and you are starting again from this yarn over, you don't want to make extra yarn over here since you are only making the pattern longer. So you have to decrease on the second repeat those yarn overs off. So you have the same when you are starting again from here, you have the same stitch length, numbers here that you should have in this pattern. So that's basically it. And if you are making these kind of modifications, you might want to measure, in this case, how much length do you get from this repeat. So when you do it first time, you might want to measure how long it would be, and then how much the second repeat would give you length. And of course, in this case, if you want to make the pattern shorter, you might want to measure the row gauge that you have in the rows, like for example here, and how much it cuts the length that you have here if you are cutting these rows. And then you can calculate how much length you would get with these rows that you have in the pattern. That's basically it. It's really simple with this pattern. This concept doesn't apply to all lace yoke patterns, but in this case it's really easy to make here in between. In these patterns I have the leafy pattern in the beginning, and then I have the flower shape here. So you don't want to do it here or here, you have to do it somewhere in the middle. That's it. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions on this pattern or modifying the lace length, please ask. You can comment below this video or send me an email or ask on Instagram, whichever means are best for you. I usually try to answer to each comment that you write here on YouTube, but of course, since I have limited time, that might sometimes not happen. So I'm sorry if I miss some comments, but I will try to reply to every comment that you write. Okay, then I could show you some work in progresses. I already shown you this sock. So I did knit one cable sock, and as you can see, it's something that it's the pattern that I have been using before in my Berlin soft cardigan pattern, and then I have one hat pattern that it's called kielo hat. And I thought that it would be nice to make socks with the same pattern, and I started to make them. The wool that I have here is Lanitium Ex Machina. She's a Finnish dyer, and I bought the wool from Snurre, from my local yarn store. And then I made a sock, but I'm not completely happy with this sock because I draw a chart for the heel flap, and I'm happy with the chart, but it doesn't fit well. It turned out to be too long, the heel flap here, and then I should have made double knitting here on the heel turn, because now this is too long, and if I put it on my leg, it kind of, what's the English word, it's like there is too much fabric here, so it's like feeling like extra fabric. So the sock didn't turn out to be good. And then I don't like how this is continuing here. I thought that it would look nice, but it doesn't. And then I'm now knitting a new sock, in which I draw the heel flap chart again. I did some extra enforced knitting here, or double knitting, if you call it double knitting, on the heel flap. It's better now. And then I also changed how this cable is going here in the place where you are separating for heel and instep. And then I also draw the instep chart again, because it has to be a bit different than the leg chart. And now I think I like it. I just have to finish this sock, but this will end up in a way that I have 3 socks. One which is only a sample or swatch sock, and then 2 socks that I'm going to write as a pattern. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this one sock. Maybe it's going to be my Christmas sock over the fireplace, but we don't have the same kind of tradition as in United States, where they have fireplace socks over the fireplace. The Santa is coming in a Christmas Eve to us, but it's not coming from the chimney to put the gifts on the socks. He's coming inside the house to give the presents for us, so I don't need a Christmas sock, but I have to figure out what I'm going to do with this sock. Maybe I'm just unraveling it and making another, and I hope I have enough yarn for 2 socks still, but this is a fingering weight, quite short sock, so I think I will have enough yarn there. Then I have another pullover here. It's going to be large, extra large cables, and the story behind this is that my friend, the same friend that gave me ideas for this cardigan, also contacted me again and said that you should design a mohair kind of oversized cable cardigan with huge large cables. And here it is. It's going to have a turtleneck or a cowl collar, which is picked up last, and then it's going to be quite long, so I have still a lot of knitting to do, and I almost have 1 sleeve here, but I stopped it because I have to measure it that it's the right length and everything. So this is what I'm doing now. I purchased the yarn also from my local yarn store, but different than that I mentioned earlier. This is from Lankamaailma. This is onion knit, mohair and wool. It's 50% mohair and 50 wool. It's from Denmark. I haven't tried this before, so this will be the first time. And I don't actually, this is sport weight and pretty light, because it knits for a really large gauge, so I have 17 stitches. If I do stockinette stitch, I have 17 stitches in 10 centimeters with 4.5 millimeter needles, so which are, I think, US 7 sized needles. So and this is 50 grams, 150 meters. So this is I have now used 3 or 4 skeins, I think 4 now. So I probably have bought too many skeins, so I still have leftovers. I have to think about what I'm going to do with all those yarns that I'm going to be left with, but if I don't use them myself, I should probably organize a giveaway for those yarns too. Then I have some huge piles of Alafoslopi yarn from Iceland, Istex. This is, I think, yes, this is the firm is Istex and it's Alafoslopi. After I made my Reykjavik soft, I have worn the Reykjavik soft pullover a lot lately because I'm usually going to have long walks with my family, with my kids, and we are playing Pokemon Go, and they are walking so slowly that I would freeze if I won't wear a lot of wool. So now that the days are getting colder and colder, and they still want to play Pokemon Go, and I have did mittens for them, mittens with a hole in a thumb and in a forefinger, so they could still play Pokemon Go with their phones even if they have mittens on. So I thought that I would need a thicker Icelandic sweater, and that's why I have this yarn. This will be my main color. It's almost grayish blue, and then I have some yellow here, and then white. I have almost already made up the look of the pattern that I'm going to make, but I haven't drawn it yet, so I don't know if it works in knitting, but I still have some designing to do, even if I have an idea what I'm going to do. And then I also have some letlopi, and this time my colors will be these. So this will be my main color, and these two will be my contrasting colors. And for this I also have an idea, but I also have to draw it a little bit more to make sure that it will work as a knitted pattern. As usually I'm going to make top-down sweaters. Most of the Icelandic sweaters are made from bottom up, but I want to make top-down just to make sure that everybody can try it on while they are knitting. So that's why I want to make top-down garments, and of course for that I want to make sure that I have enough yarn, so if my yarn will be running out, I have to cut the sleeves or the length of the garment. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. I'm going to put a little clip here in the end for our today's work, also by the sea, so you will see how the Finnish November looks like today. Bye!